So welcome back. We are talking million-dollar careers. As always, I've got my good friend Rob Houghton with me. Rob is the president of MR Fairfax up in Washington, D.C. He lives in Winchester, Virginia. And Rob is the absolute King Kong of recruiting for the insurance industry, specifically in the Washington Metro DC area. So Rob, welcome back. What's happening? Love to have you on. It's good seeing you today.
Good morning, Craig. It's all good. Did a lot of yard work this weekend. Got a lot of good sun. Tired, aching, but other than that, it's all good, man.
There you go. It's a good weekend here too. Spring is in the air. My black truck is yellow with pollen.
Yeah. Now it's a beautiful. I don't know about down in North Carolina, but up here in Virginia, it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day, man.
It's an awesome spring. I'm digging spring right now. So all good.
Yeah,
but hey, so before we came on, we were talking about a little bit about switching jobs. Both from an employer standpoint and from a person looking to move. And I've been thinking about this all weekend. I think, you tell me. I think the one thing people forget when they're putting a job out there, they need some help. They're putting a job out there. They don't think so much about the other person. Don't think so much about the talent that they're trying to attract. They think about, this is the job we have, this is the pay we have, and they never think about what's going to attract the right person to that role. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you have to make it more of a place that someone wants to run to. It has to be like almost like a destination attraction, sort of like I don't want to say a Disney World, but a place that someone wants to go to for a lot of different reasons. I'm thinking of the example of military special operations, which I always like to use this as an example, but like for Delta Force, okay, the pipeline is the 82nd Airborne, and to a lesser extent, the 101st Airborne Division. And to attract those airborne guys, you better have something very special. So forces, like Delta is a tier 1 mission operating unit. That is a destination. People go there to spend the rest of their careers. That is the ultimate. So they never have any trouble recruiting people. They may select 100 people for tryouts and maybe a half a dozen will make it. It's a true destination. Like they have built up the mystique, the eliteness of the unit to the point where they don't even have to advertise anymore. People just show up literally at the gate down at Fort Bragg and beg to just have a shot at being a Delta guy. And I always look at that as an example. It's like a destination. They have really mastered the art of not only branding, but what they do. It goes beyond branding. It's like, if you want to be a hotshot military guy, man, Army guy, you're going Delta. And
these are the people you train. So you do a lot of, just for perspective, you train a lot of, back in your prior life, you were one, and now you train them, and that's what you understand. And this is the same thing. I'm actually, I spent several days with a client who's having issues with retention, just because the industry is moving so fast. I said, look, you need to make yourself the employer of choice. It all becomes, it all comes down to, if you are the employer of choice, you will never have a retention problem again. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, think about it. Think about, the jets you fly are all, it's a number one aircraft management company. So the jets you fly are all new. It's new. It's newer material. So pilots want to come fly the jets. Your clients are all top tier. So great jets, top clients. And they said, all right, now think about what concerns do people have, in the industry. It's relocation. Where can I live? Address that. It's economic, pay, address that. It's what happens if the jet goes away, address that. It's all these things, now start to think about, what do we need to do to become an employer of choice?
Right, exactly.
And I think in this day and age, it's another client I've been working with. They're like, well, we think this person needs to make $195,000 because some consultant out there told us that this person needs to make $195,000. I'm like, well, I've got 6 offer letters all within the last 12 months that say you're probably about $50,000 shy. Right. So what are you going to do to attract the right person to your company and get them to reload to your city or state if that needs to happen? What are you doing? Otherwise, you're just telling people, hey, look, change geography for no real benefit. And nobody wants to move for a couple $1,000s. Like, yes.
Yeah, man. So first of all, just to set the record straight, I was never a Delta operator per se. Okay. I was in a different unit. Okay.
All right.
It was a different unit, but just to put that out there. Okay?
I meant to say special forces, so different unit.
And special forces is a separate thing. It's really, special operation forces, which is all encompassing a lot of different elite units, which just say special operations forces, But anyways, so what you say makes a lot of sense, because going back again to special operation forces, how they develop their culture of eliteness is they're very good about taking someone's duties and responsibilities, what they do on a daily basis, and tying that directly to a goal or a specific objective. So everyone knows exactly what's expected of them and what they're going to be doing. For a lot of people in the insurance industry, the big issue now is people are being overworked, and they don't know what they're working on. They're like being pulled in so many different directions. Work becomes meaningless now, because now I'm just a cog in a wheel, just working 10, 12 hours a day. I don't really know what my purpose is anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. And I've got a couple of clients who are really, really good during like performance reviews and in their monthly feedback sessions, where they go through great pains to make sure that their employees know exactly what they're doing and how that ties into the goal and objective of the company, because what that translates to is a purpose. You and I have talked about that before. Purpose is one of the main drivers of an employee now. They have to have purpose in their work, particularly amongst the younger crowd, the Generation Zers. They have to have purpose. So if you don't have purpose, then the whole thing falls apart. And the clients that I have that are able to attract like the truly top talented people are the ones that have developed a true culture, a true eliteness about them in the way of like a military or a professional sports team does. Those are the companies, regardless of pay. I mean, they pay well, but people don't go there for the pay. They go there because I want to be part of that group. That's what I want to be part of. That's what I want. That's how you attract people.
Yeah, I talk about that in corporate America quite a bit. It's like, hey, look, become, you want to be the group where 100 people apply.
Yeah.
And 10 people get, 10 people, 10 people make it, right? Hey, we'll choose. We have you want to be the company that gets to pick and choose. Sort of like the MIT or the Harvard or Stanford, of industry, right? And I think that starts with like a great, it starts with a great position descriptions. And it's like, hey, who are we as a company? What are we trying to attract? What is this role that we have, and how do we, attract the right person to it versus, hey, just come on over. We offer average pay. Yeah, we're fleet average for pay. We're a good company, but it's nothing special. I think that's where employers miss the boat. They just don't think about, maybe it's just HR laziness. They just slap it up there. Post and pray and whatever. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work the world's changed. You got to get people excited.
Yeah. The other thing too, I don't know if this is happening in the aviation and the aerospace sector, but like in the insurance sector, there's a lot of acquisitions, a lot of mergers. And what happens is the corporate culture will change almost year to year, and that's an issue, because when if insurance company A is trying to attract people, but they've been through 2 reorganizations in the last 3 years, for all practical purposes, there is no culture. And then it becomes very difficult. Then it becomes a money game. Let's just pay people 20%, 30% more than my competitors.
Yeah.
But then you're getting the wrong people. You're getting people that are motivated by money. And the problem with that is that another recruiter comes along a couple of years and offers them more money. And what do? They leave.
Yeah. I'd love to see what you think about, like, you read about all the layoffs in tech, Google, Facebook, Salesforce. Apple hasn't laid anybody off, but you think about, like, all these people are like, well, we overhired, and we were just, Salesforce is, we're one big family. You're one big family until 10,000 people got to get laid off, right?
Exactly.
And then you're really not. Then you're sort of kicking out the cousins you don't like.
Exactly.
I think the issue with that's the problem with getting big. You go acquire little companies that are kind of nimble and entrepreneurial and have their own little culture, and then you go and acquire them and you roll them into big mama Facebook. Or you remember when Cisco was going crazy 20 years ago and buying up everything under the sun, and then you roll them up and you assimilate them. You try to assimilate them into this big monster culture. People are like, this isn't what I signed up for anymore. This isn't what I signed up for, and then they leave, right?
Yeah.
I'm all about what's in it for me. Personally, I'm an all what's in it for me type of guy.
With them.
With them. I think it's, when you start to turn the page and go, what's in it for them?
Yeah.
What's in it for them? What are we offering them that's so great that they should come to us? And it's the one question I think companies don't ask themselves when they're out hunting for people.
Yeah. I ran it, and it's all things for all different people. There is no magic bullet. Like, how can you develop a culture? What is that culture? I mean, I've got a client, actually. This is really strange. So what makes them different? And they are really different, but they attract a lot of people. I mean, they attract so many good people that they don't even really need me as a recruiter, except for a couple of oddball positions, like an underwriter maybe, or something like that. But they recruit people very easily. And here's how they do it. Okay. So in this particular organization, because of what they do, they hire a lot of young people, a lot of people between the ages of like 22, college graduate, to like 35. That's their average age is like 28 years old. Okay. What they do actually is they have a productivity system and a way of evaluating people based upon KPIs. They will allow their people to have a side hustle. It's crazy, right? I mean, how many people will allow their people to have a side hustle? And I know some of these people, and they're really, really smart. They're really, really good at what they do. And a lot of them actually have a side hustle, like whatever a side hustle is these days. It's a marketing business on the side or something, or a graphics business on the side, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? But this is a culture that's really hip, and they know what they want. They know they want younger people for a lot of different reasons, which I really can't go into. But this is how they attract these people. They have created a culture that has sort of a brand reputation. Like, come here, all you got to do is get your work done. And then if you want to have a side hustle, you can. Even if you have to take a phone call during the middle of your workday, if you get your work done, it's okay. And it works. Yeah. It's different, but it works. And there's a lot of companies now that are actually, as a matter of fact, I saw something in the Wall Street Journal this weekend. It popped right out at me. There's companies now that will allow people, particularly tech companies, to have a side hustle. But that's that is their culture, and it works for them.
The interesting, I was reading a different article. I saw that Wall Street Journal article you were talking about. I was reading a different article, and who's the guy, Mr. Wonderful, Shark Tank guy. And he was like, companies are still hoping that, people are going to come back to the office. They're under this belief, well, hey, look, eventually people are going to come back to the office.
Yeah.
And I'm with him. I'm like, if you're smoking something if you think people are going to come back to the office. And quite frankly, this really creates, I mean, look, the underlying, problem with it is you got all these office buildings that are heavily leveraged. And eventually they're going to start losing their leaseholders. So now people are going to have to figure out, how to convert them into something different. But, that's the ultimate thing is that, these people are not coming back to the office, and you have a whole generation of people who are coming up behind you and I are coming up now. They're not going to understand what working in an office is, what working in an office is at all.
Yeah.
So how does that change the way you lead and manage people? You got that whole game is going to change. And then you think about, once again, how do we attract the right people? And it comes, what do people change jobs for? What is it? It's pay, location, the ability to move up the food chain, money, security is big.
Yeah.
There's 6 things. That's
I've got a client. So I have another insurance client down in Washington, D.C., which is a difficult area to access. So you can imagine what it's like trying to attract people back into the office, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they did is something very interesting. They refitted their entire office to accommodate a hybrid worker. Mm-hmm. So people no longer have a specific desk. So they come in, they have a big area they have a chef that makes meals.
Mm-hmm.
They have common areas. They have IT areas. They have special Zoom areas. It's very, very comfortable. I was in there about 2 weeks ago and I was thinking to myself, this place is like a 5-star hotel. I mean, mm-hmm. It's like a magnet. I'm thinking to myself, now, this is a place that I would actually enjoy coming down to spend 4 or 5 hours if I have a meeting. Mm-hmm. And have a big scheduling board and everything. Very, very interesting. And I've talked to some people who work there, and they were very, very excited to come down there a couple of times a week. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. Come down just a couple of times a week, or you come down when there's a big meeting, or maybe they have a client come over. But it's no longer 8 to 5. It's no longer you have a cubicle. You don't have an office. Mm-hmm. It's a totally collaborative and innovative atmosphere. And again, the average age of this company is probably around 30. So mm-hmm. for that age group, it works.
Yeah.
Now I have other clients, it's all white guys, 65 years old, right?
Right.
That's not going to work.
No.
You know what I mean? But I mean, I think your point is very valid. Each individual company has to figure out what they got to do to attract the profile of person that they want to attract.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I was with a company not too long ago, and they're growing like crazy, privately held, no equity. And, I just sat down and said to them, I said, you're going to have to figure out what, we're going to have to sit down and talk about this together and figure out what's going to attract the right person. You've got, okay pay, okay equity. They said, yeah, but here's the deal. We're growing really fast. And we have the vision and we understand where we're going, and we project that we can be, X millions of dollars in revenue in 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Like, okay. And then a very consistent growth rate. I said, the person, our goal is to find the person who's entrepreneurial, who wants to grow with us, and who wants to make $1 million a year. Because ultimately what this person will get, we don't have equity. But what we will do is we will pay them a percentage of net profit. So everybody's goals are aligned.
Exactly.
We already have people in our company that are making $1 million a year. I'm like, I love it. And he goes, and we've set up, we've set up the processes to allow that, and the systems to allow them to make $1 million a year. We don't like a lot of turnover. So we keep them incentivized to stick around. I mean, all these people, they could go off on their own and they could be very successful, but they stick with us because all of our goals as a company are for them to make a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
their goals as a person is to make a lot of money and they succeed if we succeed. I mean, goals are mutually aligned. And
That's
I
a good
think-
point too, because it really depends on the kind of individual that you're looking for. Salespeople are a different animal than your support people or your operations people. I mean, salespeople, you have to create that same elite culture, but the elite culture is more defined monetarily. Like you have to give a sales guy, at least in the insurance business, an opportunity to come in and spend 100% of your time selling, not working for a small mom and pop insurance agency where you got to do support, service, and sell. You got to wear 3 different hats. The advantages to the larger insurance brokers who have the money and the resources to create different divisions of labor in terms of support, service, operations. So they bring the sales guy in, who is incentivized by money, and they will tell him, hey, you can come over here and spend 100% of your time selling, making a lot of money, if that's what you want to do. And they create that culture where their sales guys are always out selling. They're out meeting people. They're not having to fool around with the details of the contracts and putting together the quotes and the RFPs. So that's a good idea. I mean, that's a good example of how salespeople, you have to offer something different for the salespeople as you do support people. Support people are more along the lines of professional growth, getting promoted, stability, respect, recognition, purpose, all that kind of stuff. Sales guys in the insurance business, it's just about making money, man.
Hey, look, I'm all about
creating wealth.
Look, I'm all about, if you're really good, and this goes out to look, you have your hourly employees out there, and your hourly employees will be hourly employees. And my big, like right now I'm talking to, I'm reading the news about airline pilots, and they're all like, we're really good. We're really good. We're really good. Give us our union contract. And I'm like, the minute you say, give us our union contract, you're not really good. You're just looking for a paycheck. And that's it. You figure out, if you guys as a collective group can figure out how to make your airline hum like a Swiss watch, and you're working with management, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about people who are really career minded, and they're going, all right, I'm really good. If you're really good and you can really take a company or a P&L or a territory to new heights, you take the base salary that you can live on, and then you work for the upside, which you can thrive on, because then your goals are aligned with your employer's goals, and everybody's really happy at the end of the year. That's what it comes down to. So that's the way I look at it. I look, if you're working for your paycheck, you're not willing to, if you need a big base salary, you're not an entrepreneurial person.
Yeah.
You're not an entrepreneurial person. And that's it. So,
he's just a poser. That's all. Yeah.
that's it. How do people get a hold of you, Rob?
Rob at mrfairfax.com. I'm all over the internet. LinkedIn, I do podcasts. The best way to find me actually is just go to my website, www.mrfairfax.com.
I love your blogs. I read them all the time. I like them.
I've been doing a lot of sports analogies later. I just did one on the NFL Combine. I got another one in the works, March Madness. I love to do sports analogies as it relates to talent acquisition and talent retention.
I think I think they're very similar. You're looking for the best people in the best place. It's a very, like a lot of people think, don't think that sports and life, sports and life, I think they run in parallel with each other.
Absolutely.
They're very similar. So it's all good.
Good, man.
Cool, man. Well, go enjoy the Monday. Enjoy the conversation as always.
All right, Craig. Good seeing you.
Talk soon. Thanks.